You're probably expecting a deep dive about artificial intelligence and cameras in ovens. That's what our last episode was about. But it's the holiday season and the end of the year. So we're celebrating 1 year of our deep dives with a best-of episode. Plus a little bit of holiday mood from me. I'm Jeff's voice avatar. Thanks for tuning in.
From know-how to wow.
AI hosted Deep Dive.
One big highlight of 2023 was our episode about electrolyzers. In July, we talked about making green hydrogen from water and green electricity. That's the task of Bosch expert Annika Oetz. She described the difficulties of engineering optimized electrolysis stacks.
The decision on what is the optimal current density per stack is a decision that already needs to be done in the development of the stack, because it also affects the cooling demand in the stack, which is realized by the water supply. So you have a lot of things to consider. If you have a higher cooling demand, then you will need to push more water through the stack, which means you need maybe larger flow channels and things like that. So it's really an important aspect to consider in stack design to decide what is the operation range for this specific stack.
Finding ideal parameters and values is the daily business of our engineers. We also heard about that when we talked about a technology that could actually help manufacture those electrolysis stacks. A new generation of lasers is moving in on our factory floors. They can make production more efficient. They also have the potential to increase product quality and even enable entirely new product designs. But first, experts like Peter Stritt from Bosch Research have to figure out how to set them up and configure them for ideal results. He uses artificial intelligence.
We have different sensor systems, which are partly used in the process and partly post-process to measure the quality of the laser process itself. For example, in process, we use camera systems, or we use extremely fast photodiodes to observe the emitted light of the process itself. And then the second thing I mentioned was the post-process sensors. And here we can do X-ray analysis of the weld and thereby identify defects. Or we even do destructive testing with the performance tests of pull tests, and we do metallurgical cross-sections to observe inner material defects. And from all the collected data, we can actually derive the quality of the weld and have a good measure here for the quality.
We determined that lasers are the coolest technology on the planet. But there is a strong contender. I'm talking about quantum sensors. In our February episode, Bosch engineer Riccardo Cipolliti told us about his work on a quantum magnetic field sensor. It can measure magnetic fields as tiny as those produced by the neurons in your brain.
So the splitting is twice gyromagnetic ratio times the magnetic field. So by knowing the difference between plus and minus one, you can absolutely measure the magnetic field.
Yeah, that episode was a tough one, even for an AI like me. But have you ever tried explaining quantum mechanics in a podcast?
In the end, you don't do it as simple as we are explaining it. So you have more energy levels that you can use. So you have more peaks and you can look at all of them because you get one peak, one resonance for each transition, for each crystal dimension, direction of the diamond too.
Sometime in the future, quantum sensors might replace today's MEMS sensors in certain use cases. But MEMS sensors remain important, and they're one of our favorite topics on the show that we keep coming back to. This past year, we learned from Yi Lu, aka Kimi, about head rotation sensors. They're enabling a spatial audio experience in devices like earbuds or virtual reality headsets. To make them work, Kimi uses some advanced mathematics.
We usually, when it comes to rotation, mathematics, or calculations, we use quaternion because the quaternion gives you a very unique rotation representation, and it doesn't have a problem with the Jingba log. So that is why this is very widely used in sense of orientation calculating.
It's all about figuring out how your head moves. Angles and directions relative to the audio source need to be determined. Only then can the audio signal be calculated correctly. If you want to dive deeper, check our January episode.
So simply it is, let's say, a four-dimensional vector, which includes a scalar part and a vector part. So the first component, you have a scalar value, which gives you information of the rotation angle. And the remaining three components, this is the vector part, which includes both the rotation angle information and also the rotation axis information.
I'd like to end with my very first deep dive episode. You first heard me about a year ago. We were reporting from Bosch Connected World. That's Bosch's own annual conference. Bosch engineer Christian Heisenberg talked about software-defined vehicles.
This is why it's exciting, because in EE architectures, what we have currently in cars, you have to know exactly that bit and byte in the application what you're writing that you can move your seat. So you have to write C code, directly know the network communication protocol, know exactly the vendor of the seat, and you have to know how big is the seat, what features has the seat, to move it in one direction.
Next, our team will put on another stage show. This time at CES in Las Vegas. The recording will of course pop up as the next episode on this podcast. Meanwhile, I'm still in a holiday spirit, so here's my 2023 in a slightly different format. Gather round, listeners, in this festive delight, a year of deep dives. Oh, what a marvelous sight. No ovens or cameras. This time we convey a best of rewind from the past year's array. Peter Stritt with lasers, a futuristic dance. On factory floors, they twirl and entrance. Efficiency soaring, quality takes flight. Configuring with AI, a tech lover's delight. Quantum sensors, Ricardo boldly spoke. Measuring fields, a tale never broke. Neurons' secrets in magnetic fields lay. In quantum mechanics, where wonders display. Kimi shared the lore. Head rotation, a topic we adore. Quaternions and math, a symphony suite. Spatial audio experiences, a technology feat. On behalf of the entire team, I wish you a happy new year.